Hi there, in this video I will be showing the implementation for the IMU Riddle. This is week 2, and the IMU Riddle should take a gesture in from the user using data from the accelerometer, and it should, if the correct gesture is done, it should complete the riddle, and if an incorrect gesture is done, it should not complete the riddle. Examples of gestures are letters, and if you figure out the riddle, then you should figure out that the correct gesture is the letter U. Or the letter O also works for this example, but other letters should not work. Incorrect gestures would be any other letter. In this example, I show the letter L. And also, if you don't do anything, like if you don't input any gesture, then the riddle should not work. So, cool, let's start. So to start, I just have short press to get your riddle. And this is just for convenience. Once everything's implemented together, the riddle will show up automatically using data from the server. But for now, I'm going to short press and get the riddle. So you can see to start, here's the riddle. It starts off with letters that are scrambled. So initially, the player will probably be a little bit confused. The riddle so far is just a bunch of random, like, mumble jumble letters. So the start to the riddle is just figuring out how to unscramble the letters. So at the start, like I said, the user will probably be a little bit confused, but hopefully after a time they'll figure out just to start putting in some random inputs to the accelerometer and see if maybe that will work to unscramble. So they could try maybe yelling into the microphone. They could also try shaking the device. Let's see, that does not work. Hopefully, eventually, they'll figure out that a button push will unscramble the message for them. So you can see the message is scrambled, and then after a few seconds, it actually unscrambles itself. But that's essentially the way to unscramble the letters. So I'll tell you also a little bit about what the riddle actually says. You saw it there for a quick second. So the riddle itself says, or the unscrambled riddle says, if I knew this in ASCII, and it shows the number 58, I'd do a press and make a sign. So essentially, the riddle is telling the user to do a press, that's a button press, and make a sign. And the first part of the riddle says, if I knew the letter in ASCII, 58 or 85, and the ASCII letter for the number 55 or 85 is U. So eventually the user should figure out that they should do a button press and then do the sign of the letter in ASCII, which is 85, which would be a U sign. So the correct response to the riddle is to do a U shape holding the accelerometer. Cool. So what's going on behind the scenes for this is essentially when the button is pushed and the words are unscrambled, a post request is sent to the server with data from the accelerometer, and the post will return a value will return essentially what motion was just done during that time that the message was unscrambled. So this was the post request from just now when I pushed the button to show you, and obviously there's no motion because because I was just reading the text, so I didn't do anything, and so it returned none for that, which is good. So next, let's try and do some other motions and see if we can solve the riddle. So let's try doing the O motion and see what happens. It's a little bit finicky, but we'll try. Okay, so here goes. I'm pushing the button, and I'm going to do the motion. Okay, so it just told me that this was an L shape. And as you can see, the riddle has not been solved, so it just went back to being scrambled. I can also show you it unscrambling again just to see. So push the button, there's the riddle, and it goes back to being unscrambled, and it says that there was no motion, none. So let's see if we can get it to work with the O sign. Great, so I pushed the button and I did the O sign, and now it says, congratulations, you've completed the riddle. The post request response is O shape, so it says that essentially the motion that I just did was the O shape to solve the riddle, and now the functions should output a 1 instead of a 0, and it will send the 1 to the server to let the server know that this user in particular has completed the riddle. Awesome, thanks for watching.